Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host from Pearl, the one, the only master propaganda hero site defender of the fatherland, off here to a glorious 1v1 on Miller Road in northeast Caosak. Fun here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, here with the 11th SS Panzergrenadier Division Nordland, with Encirclement, German infantry, and Storm in the south. It is Oziligath fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin. And the 13th Guards Tank Corps here with Armoured Assault featuring T-35s, radio intercept, vehicle crew repair training, IS-2 heavy tanks, and the IL-2 Sturmovix versus Grenadier MD-42 starts and WNS conscript starts. Strength Encirclement for Caosak with ambush training, stormtroopers, break supply line, break through, and close the pocket, one of my personal favourite commanders. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters. Without them and the wonderful support, the Propagandacast would not be possible. A big hearty thanks to every single one of those people. Other people enjoy the rank, support the Propagandacast, join the Propaganda Legion by pledging on Patreon, or they can donate via PayPal. Links are in the video description. And if you're considering pre-ordering companies free, you can use the link in the comments. Use the code to the video along with that. And I get a cut of the sale, roughly 15%. So that's a nice way for, both to get the game and support me. Win-win. And finally, comment, like, share, subscribe, talk about the video, what you like. All the way, though, Encirclement here. We'll have to see how well our Caosak can make use of it. He's definitely one of the few players who does make use of it. The other one, of course, being Caosak the Val, who is definitely a bit of a virtuoso with that commander. Double comms here for Oziligath. Armoured Assault seemingly slightly on the rise as of late. Probably not a huge rise, but certainly something else in Encirclement range, a bit more of a specialist choice amongst players. Gonna do things southwards here. He's at the ready up north here, bit of moving around here. Samix, they're being disrupted. As he, of course, is concerned about the Germans catching there as he finishes them. Slightly falling back here, obviously looking to stay at range of the MD-42 in the south, bit of skirmishing here. Second Grenadier Squad right there for Caosak. Of course, Oziligath knows this already, thanks to radio intercept. MD-42 catching the comms out and suppressing them. Could quickly push in with the Pioneers, deal with them there. Typically one reason why I see Pioneers and MD-42s close together, because the Pioneers can then quickly move in and then finish off the suppressed troops, at least deal with them, ensuring they also don't get unsuppressed. There we go. Contra taking heavy damage from the Pioneers while suppressed. Note though, while units are suppressed, they initially take less damage from all bullets of small arm sources, but after a certain point, they actually start taking more damage from being suppressed. So, little fun fact there. Third conscript there out for Oziligath. Third Grenadier for Caosak. Without see how many he goes for. He's also close to being able to equip his men with ambush camouflage, which is always a pretty handy upgrade for infantry, fairly cheap too. Third Grenadier squad out in the south here, conscripts the Grenadiers, bit of light skirmishing between Caosak and Oziligath. Engineers contra attack from the north here suddenly, looking less great for Caosak's Grenadiers in the south. Quickly push back. Michigan move towards the center again. Probably looking to respond to a potential push on the southern fuel point, as that would make, I imagine, Caosak fairly sad. Okay, do we have any... Yep, medics up there for Oziligath already. Thumbs up. So far, fairly standard build up from him. MD-42 there versus the conscripts. And these could also get suppressed. And of course, similarly, fairly standard build for Caosak. We're again seeing the 4 Grenadier MD-42 opening here, which is seemingly becoming the standard Wehrmacht build order for increasingly large amount of Wehrmacht players. Since again, versus the 3 conscript engineer build, it does give a bit more pressure early on that we can like to fight better back against it. So it is becoming more, shall we say, again, standard. Plus, in the end, having 4 Grenadiers with light machine guns is typically also quite good. So that's another reason why a lot of Wehrmacht players are sticking to that one.
Our soldiers are trained to advance rapidly.
So there you go. 4 Grenadiers out can also begin equipping his men with ambush camouflage. There's the contrast here. Didn't mean to sing out that camouflage, but somehow, it happened. Attack on the way there for Caosak. And these moving forward towards the south here. Ground northern victory point away from the Soviets. Southbound, we got Grenadiers before coming up here. No ambush camouflage for Caosak there. Bit of skirmishing here. Contact man losses. Dimitri drops dead. Like a sack of potatoes. Drop from a particularly high government building. Home company up there for Oziligath and the Red Army, going for the fuel point here, because of course looking to mess with his opponent fuel income. Very smart there, of course. Very sensible. He's limbing up the flamethrowers. You can see there, Caosak quick to back off. He obviously knows he can't easily support the gun he's in. Obviously, just get the murder without rendering the point neutral. So, much smarter here for Caosak just to back off and try and draw his opponent to like a kill zone there. We got light machines on the way there. Probably why I didn't go for a lot of ambush camouflage because he's prioritizing upgrading the gun with MG42s first, though. That said, getting an MG42 team with ambush camouflage is actually typically a very good investment, in my experience, as they can really burst out some big damage fast. Like to make a nice company for Caosak and the 11th SS Panzergrenadier Division Nordland. Second shows a Scandinavian volunteer SS unit. The first one was actually the Viking, but after a certain point they made some reorganizations. While it technically still had some Scandinavians in it, there was primarily then reorganized into being a Germanic, and the 11th SS will sort of make the Scandinavian volunteer unit. As a sort of side note there. Armoured column weather for Caosak and south here comes the Grenadiers there, light machine fire breaking into them. The 11th SS was also a bit interesting in that for an SS Panzer Grenadier Division, it was actually significantly better equipped than the average Panzer Grenadier Division. Like most Panzer Grenadier Divisions would only had like truck-mounted troops, no armour and all that. But the 11th SS actually had like armoured Panzer Grenadier units, which I imagine was a way to like, you know, try and attract more Scandinavians for giving them slightly better treatment there, because they actually had made some blunders at the early stage of the war, which had caused Scandinavian volunteers to very quickly dry up. Fun fact there, half-tech for Oziligath would also be one of the few Panzer Grenadier divisions with a full battalion of Panthers, though in their case it was less intentional. It was more like they've received a bunch of Panthers the German army had written off, that is Model A's, which were by far the least reliable model of Panthers, and the 11th SS actually managed to repair them, get back to working order, and that way formed up its own 11th, its own Panther battalion, which it actually even took all the way back to Berlin. So that's a bit of fun there. But there goes Storms up for Caosak. Thumbs up, adding the MP40 upgrade there. The Schmeissers, as they're colloquially known. Big push here for Oziligath, or big-ish, bigly, if you squint a bit. Half-track out there, of course, going to be a problem here for Caosak. He doesn't have a large amount of anti-tank weapons. He could add Panzerschreck to the Stormtroopers, or a Panzerschreck. Only one, singular, not plural. But I don't think he's going to do that. Most players prefer not to upgrade the Stormtroopers with Panzerschrecks, which you don't fault them for. But it is an option to consider, whether half-tech big problem is going to need a Pack 40 out, or a Panzer Grenadier team with Panzerschrecks, because then he could theoretically equip them with ambush camouflage, which could allow him to ambush units, but also gives them access to sprint. And you know what's great with the Panzerschrecks? Being able to rush them after your opponent's troops pretty fast, or vehicles. There goes Storms flanking the country here, catching there with the MP40s, quickly dropping Yuri there. Oziligath is striking hard here at his fascist opponent, rapidly. Storms around the country there. Enforcing here, half-tech moving towards the centre here. Smoke grenade being deployed here by Caosak. Probably should have thrown directly on the Stormtroopers would have paused, but they exposed into the smoke screen either way. Can't fire into that. Some pretty fierce action here, but so far Oziligath, it remains heavily pressured as Caosak just maintains a fairly efficient stranglehold here on Oziligath's card point, denying a lot of resources, fuel in particular, field on the way here. That said, the half-track is a massive problem here for Caosak. Again, if you had a Panzerschreck, you might be able to put on something by now alongside the armoured car, but that's that. And if you could get rid of that half-track, you could quickly, of course, you could probably straight up win the match. Another option just be going for a second armoured car, like 222s could actually, I think, take out the half-track here. But again, it does require that Caosak is willing to invest the resources into that. He might be at this point more considering just pushing for a fast tier 3 and a support McCall. Half-track there being fixed up here for Oziligath and the Red Army. Quickly engaged by the 222. Several shots there through the armour there. Again, a Panzerschreck there. Boop! Would have popped that one like a pimple. Which point Oziligath would have been a very, very bad place. South side here, Oziligath pushing forward here, avoiding the main force of Caosak here. I'd say that is a pretty solid move there by Oziligath. 222 being pulled back, possibly for some repairs. Still an ambush camouflage here there for Caosak and the German army. Pack 40 out. After being fixed up. Mine going off, killing half the machine gun crew there. South side, we got Oziligath approaching there, moving up towards the eastern victory point. Very smart there. Stormtroopers almost got the carve point. Note the order to hold fire so they don't get away themselves too quickly. That way they can sort of bait the enemy into the more effective range while, of course, negating damage by not being shot at, and then get sort of the big burst damage in there. So, fairly smart tactic there that Caosak is employing. You also see, for example, players like Oziligath do the same thing.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Oncoming forwards here. There you go, the half-tech up. We also got a pack 40 ready here, filling up in the 2-2. And the half-tech takes trend it from the pack 40 here. A lot of damage, a lot of cash being inflicted. Almost got the flame from the units, but is forced to fall back again due to the half-tech. Veteran to gain there. For Oziligath, anti-aircraft half-tech needs repositioning here to try and block a further push north for Oziligath. More light machine guns. Still not much in ambush camouflage here for Caosak or tech. I imagine Oziligath's next goal will be moving on to the mechanized armor company and then try and push out a T-34-6 fairly rapidly versus Caosak and the German army. Also worth noting, Caosak is now up to 5 infantry squads versus opponents only 3. That also, I think, helps Caosak control the map. Of course, requires some management, but smart play with all his infantry can definitely really give him a strong stranglehold on the map here versus his opponent. We do also have a maximum out here, of course, for Oziligath now. Very good addition here against an opponent with a lot of infantry. So thumbs up there to Oziligath. Still not much in terms of ambush camouflage here for Caosak. I mean, he's more or less able to, I think, get the last squad upgrade and then still have munitions for more ambush camouflage upgrades. We'll have to see if Caosak ever does that. Be shame he didn't, I think. 2-2 takes a nice hit from the field gun. South here, Gunnies for the country. The Gunnies losing out there. Not a great engagement for Caosak at all. In fact, there's a chance he might even lose the Gunnies. Yup. At which point the question is, does he drop a light machine gun or does he not? Wow. Doesn't get wiped. That is absurdly lucky there for Caosak. Absurdly lucky. He definitely should have been punished for that one. That was definitely not tactically okay, but the game in this case I decided, I guess, not to punish him for it. Moving forward to the Maxim here. Either needs to see him around solid up as soon as he saw pop into there and needs to retreat. Also, at this point, I think both players would benefit significantly from a mortar. I mean, 1v1 maps in general, I think, benefit from mortars. There's some more than others, and I'd definitely say Mill Road, with the way things are going, would benefit both players to go for a mortar. We'll, of course, have to see what they do there. But there you go, Caosak with the support core, and can in fact go for a Panzer IV relatively soon. Meanwhile, Oziligath, due to German fuel rage, there, of course, is not quite within range of any T-34-6s or 85s anytime soon, so pretty strong position there for Caosak, in part again just strong infantry presence. Straight hit from the field into the 2-2, knocked out. Of course, one thing to note about the 12th Limited SS is, despite, being designated as a Scandinavian volunteer SS unit, they actually had a lot of ethnic Germans from, like, well, Hungary and Romania, all sorts of things that attached to it, actually, as they just didn't have enough Scandinavian volunteers to, like, really fill them out. Fun side note, by the way. Fun side note. Finishing stuff in U42. Using the center here. Pioneers bring it further for Caosak. Come from the south right here with the Grenadiers. Mines up here for Oziligath. Southern push by Caosak and the German army. Field gun here for Oziligath. This is 3 division field gun. Obviously expecting German army anytime soon. Plus, in general, double field gun trying to tank into general is very powerful. In particular, on more narrow maps like this one, having a lot of anti-tank guns is typically a very good idea there. Seeing how rounds being loaded up, expecting the half-tank. Thumbs up to Caosak. Very good, but sadly overlooked ability in the MD-42 and the MD-34 by extension. One piece of advice is, try to use it. Obviously, you're not always going to get it correctly, but once you start using it, you're slowly going to get towards actually making good use of it, I think. It's a very powerful ability, and I think, again, critically and criminally overlooked. Brandhunt gun in the max, Stormtroopers pushing the max. Oh, the Stormtroopers on the max and pushing out of there. MP40s then go straight for the field, and here, but there you go, half-track saves the day. We do get tactical advance, which increases the accuracy of the unit, but also slows them down and makes them take more damage. So it's definitely one of those abilities you want to be careful about how when used. Correctly used, it can be very powerful. Incorrectly used, it's going to throw you out like an otherwise really good assault unit. Panther 4 there for Caosak. Mechanized armor company for Oziligath and the Red Army. Big 2 points wise, good lead for Caosak over Oziligath. Mechanized armor company there being built up. Panther 4 halfway done. Mortars would still be, I think, a good investment here on both sides. But in particular, I think for Caosak, there's an opponent like multiple field guns, hanging mortar is going to be a really good piece of support equipment there. Panzerhaus and a half to there, get a bit too bolty there. Stormtroops creeping in. Again, note the way he's ordering them to hold fire while moving, so again, they don't give away. Can allow to creep out on the opponent efficient as well there, since they can move between pieces of cover there, unlike most other units that have camouflage. I think the only unit that has that similar ability is the Commandos, if I remember correctly. That's actually a very powerful ability, but again, one that fairly gets overlooked. Well, unfairly, I think. North, they got the Pentaforming Forwärts. Still riding the machine gun there, well slowly crumbling. Storms again creeping ever closer. Also acting in this case as a spotter for the Panther 4. So a lot of purpose here. Half-tech for some reason moving forward. So that seems like a big mistake unless we should debate out maybe it. Also in this case, Brandhand Grenadier here and the engineers, but what we should actually be doing here, I think, is actually rush down the field gun with the Stormtroopers. There you go, got the half-tech. Retreats the Stormtroopers, of course, they also got caught with the Maxim still. That's it, things completely went sour here now. It gets damaged engine and there's both field guns firing the Panther 4. High likelihood here of losing the Panther 4. This is getting where a mortar would have been handy. Smoke screens are just bombarding constantly here, but instead, without the mortar, yeah, things went sour, and Caosak pretty quickly lost his Panther 4, and that way also lost his arm advantage over Oziligath. Good work though by Oziligath. Definitely could have handled it a bit better there by Caosak. Can't forget the southern point there, very good. Pioneers reinforcing. Healing here from the Grenadiers. Pushing them towards the centre. Can't caught here by the Indy 42. Still ambush camouflage here though for Caosak's units. Still none. Can't goes popping eastwards. And continuing to lay down mines there. Bigger base here for Caosak. Probably another Panther 4. As for Oziligath, looks like he's going for the T-35 now. The immediate threat of the Panther 4 is gone. There we go. And tactical advance here. Quickly strong ambush here. Almost takes out a good portion of engineers. 10 kills also. Close to vetting 2. Minesweepers on the radio. Thumbs up to Caosak. Yep, we do get the T-35 for Oziligath. You could obviously try and solve for the IS-2 heavy tank, but that would be pretty risky versus Caosak and his kind of rule control of the field otherwise. Losing the Panther 4 notwithstanding. Up north here, a bit of skirmishing here. Medical supplies has also been grabbed earlier, as there's for some reason the map has a crate of those lying about there. Mort on the Oziligath. Thumbs up. I could definitely give Caosak a bit of a headache. Unless he grabs it himself somehow. Stormtroops running out there. Go, T-35 there for Oziligath and the Red Army, equipped with an 85mm gun, hence the 85 in its name. Mortar team up as well there, mine going off here. Pioneers spotting the way here for the Grenadiers and the machine gun team. Still not ambush camouflage there for Caosak. Rather getting the maximum crew with the northern field point, could be attacked in. Even the field gun is actually a bit exposed. In fact, both are. But fortunate for Oziligath, Caosak doesn't really have the forces in vicinity to like really exploit that. Now that Pack 40 here for Caosak. He's been engaged with the T-35 there, shot, lands awfully close, but not close enough to like cause any severe casualties. In the south there again, tactical advance in the conscripts, quickly dropping Yuri there. 11 kills, eventually 2. Now we got Sword Mortar firing down here in the Grenadiers. With the PM-41 Battalion Mortar. Panther 4 sending out, they're adding the pin-mounted MG-42. The Pommel Crop there for Caosak, Banker up as well. Obviously he's always got the Pommel Crop. Part of me was expecting perhaps something more there, since he's going for double Pack 40s here, but then again with T-35s, having a second Pack 40 out is going to be a pretty good idea. Fielding's being used pretty aggressively here. North here, a bit of pressure here from Oziligath as he's exploiting the fact that Caosak's forced to be on the retreat here. And again, Stormtroopers just acting as spotters here. Can't they going to spot the Stormtroopers? Caosak, of course, doesn't realise it until it's too late. Just has to retreat here.
Bunker has been converted to
Bunker ready.
emergency medical station.
What will Caosak do next? Up north, they've got a smaller push there. In the centre, T-34-85 slowly creeps forwards as the Panda 4 pulls back. Caosak's definitely lost a bit of his confidence here compared to the early stage of the game there. Oziligath at this point presents a much stronger threat, particularly with the double field guns, making it harder here for Caosak to just play aggressively versus Oziligath. It's not that he doesn't have any options, but he needs to, I think, plan slightly better ahead. And certainly having a mortar here would be an excellent addition. Oziligath away deploying flares, thumbs up. One of the reasons why the Serb mortar is so powerful, that and of course it being a 6-man mortar crew but still performs like a German mortar. Used to be more powerful and also had access to the precision strike ability for Veteran 2-1, which was distinctly busted but also quite ahistorical, as Soviet artillerymen were not exactly known for their accuracy. Panda with Tunisia ripping a bit apart there with the Panda 4 there. Tunisia heading westward toward the fuel point there, grab a northern point here. In the south, you can see the Oziligath coming around there, looking to perhaps find a weak spot there in Caosak's eastern flank. What is Caosak planning next? Tier 4 it is, rather than more medium armor. Not a huge fan of this. I also would say, particularly with a commander like Encirclement, with the ability like Breakthrough, you actually want more medium armor, because Breakthrough doesn't just allow tanks to grab, territory, but also being fast, it also increases the rate of fire. So, like, it typically benefit a lot more with a bunch of medium armor, where you can, like, really just take advantage of all these different boosts there against the opponent. Whereas, like, having to go for, like, one big, expensive tank typically tends to benefit less from Breakthrough. Not that they don't benefit at all, they do, but, there's definitely a bigger benefit in going for just a lot of mediums. Machine gun versus machine gun. Pretty good setup there for the Maxim, as it's got heavy cover. Charging with the Stormtrooper, thumbs up there. Straight at the Maxim, up close, should be able to clear it out here, and, yep. Wipes the Maxim, should definitely grab it and just retreat with it. Step moves on, ignores the Maxim, feels gun there, engaged with the Panda 4, confident drop here. Packs are being hauled up here to try and assist the advancing Stormtroopers, but and that didn't quite work out for him. He's trying to destroy the Maxim here. Except none of his gunners can hit it. This only is a much smaller target. And again, I think that's why she just grabbed it, because Caosak with another machine gun honestly would have been like pretty decent here versus Oziligath. Also got the heavy Panzerkorps there. Oziligath meanwhile going for another T-34-85 medium tank. Maximum recruit here by Oziligath's brave Frontovics. Look, it's mostly intact. I'm amazed it is intact. Like, look at that. It took a 75mm armor-piercing shell. How the hell did it survive that? The glories of Karl Marx? Unless he made a deal with the devil, I don't think so. Anyway, second T-35 almost done there.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
There we go. Second one ready. That's 2 medium tanks of the more premium quality versus Caosak's Panda 4. Not great in that sense. Maximum casting the Stormtroopers here as well. North have been maneuvering here from Caosak. They're exploring the fact that now Oziligath is weighting everything towards the southeast, though there is a tank being rushed northwards. The southeast MD4 holding up a massive engineer push for the fuel point there, routing the entire lot. Panda 4 also sniping there, poor Yevgeny. T-35 going further and further northwards. He looks like going to try and flank into Caosak here around the centre. Bunny's caught in there. Go sandwiched between 2 T-35s. That's a quick retreat. We also got the field. In fact, could turn to assault here. We'd want to deploy smoke around here. That could nullify a lot of Caosak's defences, make it easy for Oziligath to push against him. We'll have to see, though. We'll have to see. Good shot from the Panda from the country there. Maxim setting up here as well. 9 kills on the Panda 4, mortar firing down here. Panda 4 gets good returning on the conscripts. 10 kills on the Panzerkampfwagen. T-35 of them moving up. Now the Pack 40 for Caosak. Not entirely sure that's the best pick here. I mean, again, it's becoming more common for sure. And again, certainly versus the T-35, you do want more firepower. But at the same time, as opposed to mortars, and all, it could become a bit of a liability potentially. Could become a liability. But again, I'm not denying this isn't going to, like, you know, really do some serious damage to tanks. But if Oziligath finds a way to counter it, or like catches one, the anti-tank is off guard, this could quickly turn against Oziligath. You know, on the other hand here, so there's definitely some risk associated with it. And I think he better off just going for some Stoogs rather than trying for Panthers and then, like, you know, triple packs. Because, I mean, if he hadn't gone for T4, could he set more armor by now? Wouldn't need that many anti-tank guns anyways. Of course, assuming he's going for Panthers. I mean, it could be Storm Panthers, obviously, but even then, still, like, you know, 3 anti-tank guns to back that up. Mortar hit kill there, kills Otto. Moving up there, and there you go. Fritz dying out as well here. Hunira push back. So we'll have to see here what Caosak is planning. He does also access close the pocket. Here we could like hit these 2 points here. You could actually like leave a lot of Oziligath's crown force exposed and actually possibly vulnerable to a good series of strikes. Then you need to put it with the Panther 4 and the MD42. Northern T35 packs off here. Katyusha here for Oziligath. Bring in some rocket artillery on top of the mortar. That's also like another potential issue for these packs is of course just Katyusha fire can be really powerful, in particular on, you know, map like Mel Road, but there's not a lot of room for the anti-tanks to like be separated to be effective. So that's like, you know, really like potential like just bonanza there for Soviet rocket launches here against Caosak anti-tank guns. And could leave Caosak feeling particularly sad. Up north, the third pack, that was the T-35 there, damaging the Panther 4, troops dying out there. Light machines drop, now suddenly Caosak starting to see heavy infantry losses here. Pack pushing back the northern T-35, and there you go, we do get close to pocket. Note, of course, it does have a secondary mode, but like, you know, it just fires mortar bombs on all the hostile territories next to territories here. They're actually not a bad, but you can see they does fire like some with fair regularity, not the highest accuracy, but you know, it does get some mortar hits off here. That's it, it's not like the primary usage of the ability, obviously, but in a pinch you can use light to maybe like buy some relief and just mess with the opponent a bit. I think in this case indicates Caosak was feeling a bit of the heat here from Oziligath and just desperately pressed it. Or maybe it was a misclick, who knows. But he can soon go for the Panther. It does also look like he's going for the Panther. He's got like massive manpower and munition fuel flow, but he hasn't gone for the Storm Panzer yet, so it feels like a Panther here, and there you go. Can go for it now, that's what he desires. Got the T-35, good kill there for Caosak. Denies Oziligath as a precious T-35 medium tank, confidently ripped apart with their assault and hold of the Stormtrooper. There you go, full wipe here. The Stormtroopers certainly living up to the pay grade. Are you getting paid? Yeah, you aren't. 9. I was just doing this because I like killing Russians. South England's put back the concept. There we go. We do get the Panther for Caosak, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Actually, Model D's. The previous one, not Model A's. Mistake there. This is the Model A. The Model D's were the initial models of Panther, which the 11th SS received a bunch of because, again, they were just very unreliable. It's still not something that's talked much about the Panther in some regards, but early models in particular had massive unreliability issues. Even the later ones, like the Model G, still had a lot of issues there, and it wasn't uncommon for a Panther battalion, for example, to like only have half of its Panthers operational at any one time, with the rest being in maintenance. Fun fact there. And before doing up an engineer assault there, backed up at the T-35, Grand Western Point. We'll have to see what Oziligath goes for next. Will it be an IS-2 stall, or will it be another T-35? There's obviously arguments for both here. Victory points-wise, he's also been able to close the gap between him and Caosak quite well there, so thumbs up to Oziligath, really. Also continued nice usage of the mortar as well. Thumbs up. More than point mixes with the Grenadiers. Panther's almost done for Caosak. So there we go. Panzerkampfwagen 5. If the comes here, more firing down the Grenadiers. See, Caosak or Oziligath, I mean, not replacing his infantry losses though. Now there's Caosak. He could, for example, go for another Stormtrooper squad or a Panzer Grenadier squad. I think either of those could be really good additions here for Caosak. Oziligath minds it off. The South Maxim there covering the victory point fairly decently. Panthers looking forward here for Caosak and for Deutschland. You got 191s on 62. Packs keep firing, we're not really hitting anything in the south here. Maxim there, still trying to deal with the Grenadiers, but they are still ground the point. There you go, the halted, pinned to the ground like insects. Pillarmount machine added to the Panther. Got the Panther here for Caosak and for Deutschland. 191s on a 57. Here's on watch there. Panther going southwards. Opening on the max and they're pushing it back. Building shoots misses. Another machine gun here for Caosak. Don't ambush on anything else, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure he really wants another machine gun here versus Oziligath. I mean, it's not like Oziligath has a lot of infantry anyways. I think Caosak would be much better served with more assault troops. Again, Panzer Grenadiers or Stormtrooper I think would do a lot more good here for Caosak versus Oziligath, which again already short infantry, has a lot of support weapons, like a well-positioned assault unit like that could really give Oziligath some really bad times here. Whereas the machine is just going to be targeted for the Katyushas and the mortars, but we're also reloading like 2 squads to suppress. It might be a bit overkill to have that many machine guns. Northeast Stormtroopers back the Controls, gaining the ace level. Very good work there. Again, Stormtroopers an excellent unit there, but trying to get overlooked. Max Gunny's catching the mortar here, pushing it back. T-35 being fixed up. Katyusha falling a bit back there. Almost got the second T-35 ready, so no attempt to hit stalling for the IS-2 for Oziligath, which, under current circumstances, does make a lot of sense, and the T-35 is just a really efficient medium tank anyways. Also a little fun side fact, but those handles on the chart of the turret are actually there for infantry to hold on to, because the Surge practiced the disarmed Nikki doctrine, meaning tank riders. Part because they didn't have enough transports for the infantry, so they were expected to run along the tanks, and so they had the courtesy of actually welding handles on side of the tanks to assist with that, so they didn't, slip off so easily. Could of course have more on them, so little fun fact there. Also on the sides of the tank there, as you can see there. Zooming in. Right there. Little fun fact there. There you go, Panzerfaust and the T-35 Katyusha fire off here on the pack position, and machine gun there. Go, kills Fritz and Franz. Heinz falls onto the pixelated afterlife. Comes up and the Panther 4 pushing them back there. Building collapses under Furious Rocket Artillery fire. And I'm not entirely sure what happened out. The machine gun and the pack got wiped out. Oh yeah, he's pushing them forward due to the Katyusha barrage. Handing out both weapons to the Oziligath. That's a huge problem there for Caosak. Not entirely sure what caused that, but either way, definitely I think a tactical misstep. Great haul for Oziligath, getting both an MU-42 and a Pack 40 means he now has 3 anti-tank guns. And again, it's crucial to keep in mind, Caosak doesn't have any artillery. So that only is going to make things tough here for Caosak versus Oziligath, who again now has, of course, a larger portion of various support weapons. Almost losing the Panther 4, he does blitz it out of there, close call though. We got 191 to 57, really looking at least on the victory points wise to get very uncomfortable with Oziligath. Caosak at least still has the lead there. But in other regards, Caosak is starting to run into some issues of his own. Mortifying the Grenadiers here. Panther could do with some light repairs as well. Up north here, maximal off the Stormtroopers. And he's pushing forwards. 49 points left. More to the take that her Raffnet here from Caosak's Grenadier. Panther being hauled back. Troop reinforcing healing. In the south, maximum controlling forwards. Pack 40 there could do with some reinforcements. But then again, he's up more or less at full pop cap, so he can't really do that. And there you go. So it MD-42 push back the Grenadiers here. Quick sprint though allows him to get away unsuppressed. Thumbs up there to Caosak for some sharp thinking on that one. On the other hand, he's splitting up his anti-tank guns further and further, making it easy here for Oziligath to deal with them. On the other hand, could become a big problem there for Caosak, on top of the other problems he's dealing with. He's going for the Sturmpanzer. Probably deal with these support weapons there, particularly the anti-tank guns, but obviously doesn't have as much against the T-35s. And crucially, still no real artillery here for Caosak. I guess he's going to try and use the Sturmpanzer as a sort of substitute for that. And we're going to use MU-42, forcing a Caosak's southern front to pretty much have to fall back here. Up north here, Panther versus the T-35 here. Conscripts using the center of the glow of the Red Army. Pack 40 getting hammered here. Nice use of flares again here by Oziligath. Thumbs up. Very consistent use of that ability. Just gave himself a tactical advantage of his opponent in a lot of engagements. Smart play. Up north he got Storms will flanking the Maxim. Good play there by Caosak. Flying smoke he also swiftly. Very nice play. Storm Panzer out. So how will Caosak turn this back in his favor here? We got 38% on some nice. At least in this regard, he has a massive lead in victory points and could possibly use this advantage if he plays a bit smartly, which probably just bleed out Oziligath. Like maybe using Breakthrough to make like a series of push around the other various points, then sort of keeping Oziligath off kilter maybe. Could perhaps allow him just cleanly win the match with that, but it obviously does have some risks, so may not be advisable, honestly. May not be quite advisable. Panther being fixed up. Panther 4 heading southwards, halfway to the 8th level. 178 versus 38. Screen forwards. Still no ambush camouflage for enemy's units. Bit unfortunate there. Storm Panzer moving up. Shoots and there we go. Several conscripts dead. Almost got the center point neutralized, but the T-Feather proving to be a massive obstacle there for Caosak's infantry. In the south, Panther 4 machine remains on the defense. Don't think he should be keeping a tank there. That's what Weight should be having as anti-tank guns. Of course, it could be he's planning to keep it as a sort of element he can flank around here in the south with. Up north, push forward, Seek. Enemies moving in there. Panther, Packs moving in there. Storm's also moving, but all taking heavy damage. Caosak is trying to push back against Oziligath, but Oziligath is proving to be pretty tough to dislodge here, and is having none of it. There you go, got the center there for now at least. Storm Panzer being forced to get the field, and we got the T-Feather ready here to push back the Storm Panzer. Panther shoots, whiffs entirely with its high velocity shot. Pack shoots, gets the hit in the south here. Consequent point here being stopped. And we got the Katyusha up north here bombarding an expected German position, but instead it is not, but, well, dirt and squirrels. We got 173 versus 29. Starting to look really out there for Oziligath. He did in fact make a triple pull almost here, but we've got the center being rushed up on. Nothing defending to get the Storm Panzer up. They almost got the northern point. There we go. I'm surprised they didn't try to rush in a T-Feather to just block the point being grabbed with secure mode there, but oh well. Guns being flanked by the Panther, in fact, outmaneuvered. Oh, they're both shooting at various targets. Pioneers rushing this now, backed up the Storm Panzer, almost getting the Guineas here. We got 15 points left for Oziligath. Things are getting incredibly tense here for them. Incredibly tense. One mistake here could cost him the game. Up north, the Guineas got wiped and the light machine gun got dropped. 9, 8. He has 7 points left. And he halts Caosak there at 7. He halts the bleed. And forming up here, halfway to the east level. Panther 4, they're being pushed back, half health. Panther 4, Storm Panzer, all fairly damaged here from Oziligath's anti-tank guns. When he's up north, he held up with the Maxim. Oziligath, boy, cannot sort of stay up for the IS-2 most because, well, he can't build anything anyways. He's a full pop cap, so if he does lose something enough to look calling the IS-2, he can do so immediately at this stage, at this rate. Northeast Storm screen on northern point, smart there. Set, we can see here that Oziligath is more ready now for Caosak's tricks and has a T-Feather ready to guard the point quite efficiently. Panther being caught with a triple anti-tank guns could cost them the Panther here. Bold push, but Oziligath might have been supported by Flare, maybe not. All the way, the Panther knocked out, Storm Punch straight into the field, anti-tank guns, and again taking heavy damage. Almost got one of the film crews, but it's just not enough here. The Storm Punch also about to go down here. A brutal anti-tank gun push. Just decimating here Caosak's armored forces. His pioneers being ripped apart by Katyusha as well. Hit Grenadiers charging at the T-Feather doesn't matter. Pack crew cleared out here. Caosak is at this stage just collapsing in a matter of moments. Caosak is striking like a vengeful reaper. And he's just slaughtering here Caosak's forces. Armor is on fire. He's down to just one Panther 4 here. And the Oziligath just keeps hitting, crushing, and murdering here. It's almost got all the anti-tanks. Well, there you go. Pack crew cleared out. Pantherfast off, but it doesn't matter, and I think at this point, Caosak has in fact just lost. Oziligath here claws his way to victory with only 7 points left. A hell of a comeback here from another strong position for Caosak. That said, again, I do think Caosak could have done with some mortars and, skipping this for more medium armor and then using breakthrough to then unleash the full power of the German Blitzkrieg. But instead, he just tried to drag out the match, which, as typical, I'd find in my experience, is a bad idea against the Soviets, and you will get punished 9 times out of 10. So I definitely think some room for improvement. That was good play by Oziligath there, handled the situation, I think, quite well and calmly as the match went on, and steadily wore down his opponent. So thumbs up to Caosak and for Oziligath, but in the end, Oziligath gets an extra thumbs up, thus winning. So there you go, GG, game over. Hope you enjoyed this match, I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment, tell your friends, tell your family, but don't your enemies. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers, thank you for watching, so tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.